Today we're going to talk about 5 ways to create contrast in your song. Hi, my name is Steve Collom for thesecretstomusicsuccess.com, and today we're going to talk about 5 different ways that you can create contrast in your different parts of the song. I've heard so many songs before that the chorus sounds like the verse. Maybe you've got some of these problems in your own songs, and you're like, how do I make it clear each section, and how can that section do the job that it's supposed to have? And there's nothing worse than writing a verse chorus, and it sounds like, where did the chorus even start? And your listeners shouldn't be asking that question. They should know it without a shadow of a doubt. That's where the chorus is, and because you can just hear the contrast, it just leads up to it, and then you're singing it, and it sounds like a chorus. So let's go ahead and let's dive into these 5 tips, or these 5 keys, or 5 points, whatever you want to call them. Number 1, the melody. Now, you've got to make sure there's a saying that says the melody will hook us or grab us, but it's the lyrics that keep us. So that means that melody is always king. Melody is always number 1. How many times have you been whistling a tune or humming a melody or trying to sing the song, but the lyrics elude you? You can't remember the lyrics. But guess what? You're pretty sure about that melody, because the melody is so important. That's why I want to start with number 1, with the melody. And so how do you create contrast with your melody? So the biggest thing is, if you're going, let's just say your melody is going da 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 da, you're going up da 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 in the verses. Then in the next part, the next section could be a pre-chorus, or it could be the chorus. Whatever it is, that next section, maybe a simple one is to go down. So the verse is da 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 da, and then your pre-chorus or chorus, whatever you want to do, is da 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 da, or da 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 da. I just went up on that last couple of notes. So that's a great way. So verse would be da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Then you go to the chorus, da 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 da, and all of a sudden it's creating a different part to the song, or a different sound. It's creating contrast, and all of a sudden we know that we're in a new section. And so number 1 is the melody. It's so key. Now, another thing you can do with your melody is, let's say you've got a very simple melody in the verses, meaning that it's like maybe even as simple as you can get, like maybe 1 note or 2 notes. Maybe it's da 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 da. So maybe you've got like just lots of the single or the 1 note, then you go up. That's your melody. Those are your notes. In the chorus, go to town, da 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 da, and go for it and start. You can be really creative, and just you could jump around a lot, and that's a really cool thing. And vice versa, if you're and I said chorus, what about if it's your pre-chorus? It's the same thing. So what if you went for your verse da 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 da, and then your pre-chorus was da da da, and then your chorus just goes to town, na 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 na, or whatever you want to do. You're creating these different parts in the song, different contrasts with just your melody. So that is a big thing. Now, the last thing on melody I'll tell you guys about is make a big jump. So that's a very classic, very simple, super easy contrast to make. So you're singing da 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 da. Let's go to the next part. Da, da, da. All of a sudden you've jumped. You've got this big jump, and you're like, it feels like a different part of the song. That's a great way to do it. So first of all, melody is the first one to try and change, try and add, or really look at your melody in creating your parts to create the contrast. Number 2 is the rhythm. All right, now this is one of my favorites. I really love this one. I'm a musician, so I love all the rhythm stuff. It's really, really cool. But it's very, very important with the rhythm. Now you'd be like, well, kind of the song has the same rhythm throughout the song. Yes and no. So when I'm talking about the lyrics or the melody, which is what I'm talking about now, I'm talking about the rhythm of how you say those words. Let's say you start the verse on the 1. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting the verse right here. Then when you get to the pre-chorus, start on the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm starting the pre-chorus right here, then I go to maybe back to the 1 for the chorus, 2, 3, 4. I'm starting the chorus right here. So basically that's part of the rhythm. What note do you start on? What beat? And not what note, what beat you actually start on, because the note would be more tied to the melody. But that's a great way. Now, what about if you created a little bit like the melody? You've got lots of, you've got the same note. What if you created lots of words? Like, thinking of an example, like if you just were like, in the verse, you're like, 2, 3, 4 words, lots of words, and then in the next section you're like word. You're stretching those out, so those notes are actually a lot longer in the timing and the rhythm of them. Then you go to the chorus, and you might be back to lots of words, and so sandwiched in between them, you put a pre-chorus, which had like elongated notes or long notes, and so that's a great little trick. Like the rhythm is probably my favorite part of creating contrast. You know, some of my one of the little tricks that I like to hear, and what I do is you create a triplet in there, which is da 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 da. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. Triplets are really cool. I like triplets. So that's just another little thing to kind of dive in. But number 2 was the rhythm. So moving right along, number 3 is repetition. Now, it's so important to have repetition in your song. How many times we've all been to school and we've all learned that, you know, you've got to hear the same thing. The teacher teaches it, and then you go home and you read it and you write it out in your homework, and then you study it later, and then you sit in a test of it, you know. And so, you know, you've gone through that same step to what? To learn it. Repetition is the key to learning, and repetition is the key to hooks, you know, to creating those parts in the songs that people are just like, I can't get it out of my head. And you're like, yes. That's what you want. So repetition. Now you can use this with all of them. Let's say the melody, you're like da da da, like this is the verse. The next part, da da da, very close. I just changed one note. Da 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 da. So basically, I did pretty much 3 of the same ones. Da 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 da. Da. So I did a 4-line verse thing, melody, but I did 3 of them exactly the same. Now, these are great for repetition, because guess what? If I said to you, let's go another verse, you're already probably singing it in your head. Da 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 da. So you've got those kind of in your head. So repetition is so important. Now, when you're talking about the lyrical content, repetition you don't want anywhere in the song other than the chorus, only the chorus. So you don't want to be saying, you know, as a rule. Now, of course, you can break these rules. We're talking about art here, so we can break these rules as long as you are breaking them on purpose. But if you're not sure, stick to the rules. I stick to these rules probably 90% of the time. I hardly ever break them because they work. It's rules that work, you know. So so repetition is just so key. That's a great one. So that's number 3. Number 4 is the music can create a different contrast. Let's just say it's drums and bass and maybe a finger snap for the verse and pre-chorus. I'm singing a verse, I'm singing a verse, dun, dun. Then we get to the chorus, maybe the hats come in, and all of a sudden it's created a different part. It's added to that part, but it's the part, if you combine all those other ones, the melody, the rhythm, and the repetition, if you combine that and then you add some music, you can tell people, there's no doubt in people's mind, oh, you've hit the chorus or you're into that next section. It's so important. Now, another way, of course, to do it is, you know, have some other instruments come in. Maybe the guitars come in. Maybe some synth, or maybe a piano or whatever instrument. Maybe the brass arrangement comes in. Whatever it is, strings, it comes in, and that can create a contrast to the parts, because you got no music or less music, and then you have some music in there, so it does create those kind of contrasts. So one of the things I use a lot is a tambourine or a shaker or something up high that's really, our ears can really hear it, you know. So when you throw a tambourine or a shaker or something percussive up there in the high registry during the chorus or during that part that you want that contrast, it really does add that little bit. So, all right, moving right along. We got number 5 is harmony. So harmony is, it's so cool. There's so many different ways to get the harmony. Now, I'm just going to talk mostly about doing vocal harmonies. You can add some different notes. Maybe you've got a piano line that echoes the harmonies in the chorus, whatever you've got. So you're going to create harmony. Now, I would probably say 99% of all songs out there, especially the popular ones you hear, there is harmonies on the chorus. Now, their harmony might be unison. Maybe it's just a doubled voice that's unison, maybe an octave higher, octave lower, or maybe it's just stacked on that one note. But there is harmony there. There is you're creating a bigness of the sound, and the best way to do that is with harmony. It's like it's reinforcing those strong notes, and so that's another way to kind of create a contrast. Now, let's talk about a verse, pre-chorus, chorus. So what if the verse is just no harmony, it's just a single voice, and we're only talking about the voice here. So you got a single verse, a single voice, and then in the pre-chorus, maybe you go to a harmony. So all of a sudden it's different. Or even in the production world, you can pan, maybe it's a single voice, and then maybe you do 2 takes in the pre-chorus and you pan each one hard left and right, or even just out a little bit left and right, and then you go to the chorus and you add harmonies. All of a sudden you're creating, it's more of a production thing. It's like harmony slash production. You're creating these elements, these musical elements. And so once you put all of these things together, again, melody, rhythm, repetition, music, and the harmony, when you put those all together, all of a sudden you've got undeniable different sections in your song. So you've got to make sure that you put these in. And now, if you're not sure, or you maybe only want to put one element in, great, that's fine. You'll find if you need it a little bit stronger, or you've got that question mark in your head saying, this doesn't really sound like it's changing that much, then add one of these elements. Have a look at these elements. So great, guys. So I'm glad you stuck with me and followed all the five tips through, all the 5 points. I want to also give you a free PDF of a bunch of pop songwriting tips and mixing tips. You just have to head over to my website and download that free PDF. I'm here to help you guys. I want to teach you guys. I love this. I do this every single day. So I also, on that website, thesecretstomusicsuccess.com, I offer a mentorship thing where every month we go through, I help you go to that next level in your music career, whether it be songwriting, whether it be an artist, whether it be whatever it is in the sync world, whatever it is. I'm pushing you and I'm helping you to get to that next level. And we do one-on-ones, and we also do group listening sessions where I'll give you awesome feedback on your songs, and so you can go to that next level in your success. So awesome. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, and also subscribe. Little notifications up the top there, and yeah, and I will see you in the next video. And please, if you think this is going to be helpful to anyone, share it with people. That's amazing. If you can share this video with people, that would be awesome. So thanks again, guys, and I will see you in the next one.